Good afternoon, US. Good evening, UK, and welcome to Paranormal Path Peeps. And tonight I have Michele and Gillian, who are partners of an events team called Haunted Heritage. How are you both doing?
Oh,
Hi, we're good, thank you.
Oh, it's so wonderful to talk to you. I'm going to go on one of your events soon as well, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's going to be good.
Brilliant.
So, Michele, how did you get into this, the whole thing?
Into ghost hunting. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I've worked in many haunted venues over my entire career, and then one day I kind of met Gill, and Jill said that she was a psychic medium, and I said, "Oh, come!" I was in a work in a museum at the time, and come round and see my museum. So Jill came for a wander around and said, "Oh, it's ever so haunted here," and by sheer fluke, within a month, the curator of the building just said, "Look, we need to raise money for museums. You know, museums always struggle for cash. What can we do using the buildings at night time?" So I went and pitched ghost events, and they went, "That's fine, just get on with it." And literally, there was no rules, boundaries, limitations, just make it happen. So we did 9 events in the first year, didn't we, Jill? And then it just grew and grew and grew. And here we are in 2023, doing 160 events a year, and still very much heritage based. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I do love your locations.
We are so lucky. I think about
They are
80%,
brilliant.
yeah, about 80% of our venues are exclusive to Haunted Heritage, which is really unusual for a ghost events company.
I think that comes from loyalty, to be honest, or a working relationship that we've got with them, to do that.
Get into a Nottingham City Council one. No one can get in there, so well done to you for doing that. A council house.
Yeah.
Say I work for the council. Yeah. But to get into the council house is wonderful, And we
one
did that
time only
in there, and that's brilliant.
Yeah.
East Abbey, just wonderful.
Yes, yeah, Wollerton Hall, yes.
Yeah,
they're super venues. They're classics to me. They're beaming with history. So to us, they're very special. They're classics.
That's right, but they're actually they're good buildings as well, because a lot of on the circuit now, some of the buildings are falling down.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't got windows in them hardly, or they've got pigeons. There's one specific one, the swaddling coat. There's pigeons coming in.
Absolutely. And the other thing we find with quite a few venues is that they've actually had the guts ripped out. Like Bowman Hall is an absolute classic. Some areas have had their guts ripped out, but some areas have just been left, as close to as the original state as they can do. But there's so many lovely Georgian properties out there, but they're just featureless on the inside, unfortunately.
Well, going back to Wollerton, my hubby and I was watching Batman Begins the other day.
Wow.
And it was filmed, the some of it, not all of it, was filmed at Wollerton. And there he is standing outside. And I said to my husband, I know that place. So I quickly Googled it. And yes, it was used. It was used for Batman Begins. So there we are.
Wayne Manor, wasn't it? Yeah.
But it's amazing, isn't it? Of all the venues they can use in the world, and they use Wollerton Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand that you've got some funny stories about venues and booking venues.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure. I'm sure that any small group that tries to book venues, or larger event companies like ourselves trying to find venues, I'm sure there's a lot of similarities and quite a few frustrations. But I just thought it'd be quite a bit of a wheeze tonight to talk about that process, because there's so much goes on behind the scenes. I'm just trying to find a venue. I mean, we're quite lucky because we've got some particular rules, boundaries, and limitations. Has to be in the East Midlands. Sometimes we nibble over the border a little bit, but generally East Midlands. Got to be heritage based. And I think I've been in touch with every single museum, heritage trust, charitable venue, ancestral home, and you just spend hours and hours and hours, researching these places, sending emails out, trying to contact them. And you're lucky if you get a response. And then it's just the whole dealing with the outfall, which is quite funny because I start the ball rolling by doing all the research and contacting people, but then Jill was taking all the phone calls. So,
Oh, wow.
well, you explain what happens, Jill.
Well, yeah, sometimes the communication's a little bit slow, and I'm receiving this phone call from this gentleman, and he's rambling on as though I knew what he was talking about, and of course I didn't, and I'm trying not to make out that I'm being a bit thick. So that was one I remember. That's only been the one, and. So she says, "Oh yes, it was a bit quick off the mark. I think Mitch had made the communication, and this guy literally was, straight on the blower." But I take the phone calls unless they respond by email. But I take the phone calls and really just take it from there, and then obviously try to make arrangements to go and visit them. But we've had some blooper visits. Can you remember that one where we went to the that spa place? Took us ages to bloody find it. Sorry, I'm swearing. Took us ages to find it, and then it turns out that it's some kind of. It really was old and dilapidated, but we're climbing over fences to actually get to it, and it's flooded. And I can't remember where it were though. Can you, Mitch?
Neither can I.
But maybe we have to mention it anyway.
It's like a swimming pool, which it used to be part of a massive house. It's in the gardens. I mean, it's big thing about this charity funding and development and plans. It looked amazing. There was videos, aerial shots. Looked absolutely stonking. I mean, right about street, really interesting history. And we got there, and it was just a flooded building, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. With my worst fear jumping around my ankles, and that is I hate frogs.
Oh,
and it was just swarming. It was horrible. I couldn't wait to get off. Clicking on.
Another time we went to it was an airfield, but once again, all the history pointed out it got old air buildings, so military buildings on site.
Yeah.
And so we'd gone up to, was it Sheffield, and we'd come back, and we had to go to this other venue in the opposite direction down the M. Oh, it was just a manic day. And we get there, and there's nothing. It's just a field.
Mind you, for me, there's only the few that turn out to be bloopers, really. But the one that rings the bell for me, and I'm not going to say where it is, but it was up north, and Mitch was expecting, this, that, and the other brilliant and all manner and other. She's laughing because she knows. And I drove on this occasion, and it's funny because I'd had a psychic come straight in, and I said to her, "I don't think this is going to be for us." And she says, "Oh well, we'll give it that," which we do. And anyway, we showed round all of what was 4 minutes, and she was seething. She is seething.
We always do a little video to our team. When we ever go and visit somewhere, when we come out, it's a little video. Been here, just let me know. This is what our thoughts about it all. I was raging, absolutely.
To be honest, Jacqueline, there wasn't much actually said if you got rid of all the beeps and the swear words. There was very little said. And it's still one of my funniest things, and everybody laughs at the video that we did because it was just hysterical. So, but hey ho.
But do you actually go to any venues? You go out for a cup of tea, something like that. You go out in the country, and then do you just go into a venue and start talking, and you don't actually know how to bring the subject up because you're kind of looking at the people there, thinking, "Well, can we mention this or not?"
I've never actually done that. I generally do my research first, and we always make arrangements to go and speak to people. So I mean, sometimes you've been to places and you've just said, "Oh, I think we need to go and check this place out. I think there's something there." But we've never actually just broached it openly like that.
No.
We always try and do the polite thing and introduce ourselves. Mind you, we've been to some venues when we're really keen about building those relationships and getting into unique places. And I'm sure I've told you this one before. But in Buxton, the beautiful Crescent building.
Oh, beautiful.
It's stunning.
I stayed in a hotel near there, right at the corner.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's where Mary Queen of Scots stayed, was it, on the corner? Yeah,
I think something like that. Yeah.
the old hall hotel. Yeah.
Something. Yes. Yeah.
Well, next to the beautiful crescent, and it had been boarded up for years and years and years, and it just opened up. I can't remember when it opened up, a couple of years now, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember
Contacted them,
opening.
history, amazing. Contacted the Heritage Centre. The manager was really excited. The Heritage Centre's not that big, but he'd arranged to give us access from the hotel all the way around the crescent. I mean, like, they were bending over backwards for us, and we got there. Stunning day, lovely, hot and sunny. We go in, beautiful. There's a door now.
Oh,
Nothing
no.
there. Nothing. Yeah.
How?
I know.
That's
Had all
weird,
these
isn't
stories,
it?
but there was just nothing. There was just beautiful, but just nothing. Yeah.
Mm.
That was a bit of a trying to after pestering him for so long to get out.
He did us a good deal as well, didn't he? He wanted us to go and offered us a good deal, and I just thought that it's pointless going.
Yeah.
There was just nothing there at all.
It's
One
such a
thing-
beautiful place. The
Yeah.
buildings there are gorgeous, aren't
They're
they?
beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah,
But one thing I
Yeah.
will say, if there's any venues that we go to which aren't big enough for us, or they might have opportunities, but you always go and share them in the paranormal venue, advisors group.
Yeah.
It's just nice to go and share that kind of information. But it's a one. And there's another thing I'm a bugger for doing is I do research and just ping over random videos to Jill about venues. And this happened it was before last year or beginning of last year, I can't remember. And there's a house called Hotwood Hall.
Right.
Where is it?
Dear.
Is it Manchester? No. Where is it? Rotherham? No.
Yeah, it is Manchester.
North
Yeah, it's Manchester. Yeah.
Anyway, up north somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I contacted this organisation, and basically it was this American guy was doing his granddad died, and his granddad kept telling him that way back when, as Americans, the Hotwood family used to own this hall, right? This castle, he said. And this lad was called Hotwood. And he always thought he had a bit of a naff name. He couldn't understand why. It wasn't until his granddad died he started doing his genealogy. And it turns out there might be a connection to this place. And there was a place called Hotwood Hall.
Yeah.
So he pinged an email out to the UK, just to know a group called Hotwood Hall, kind of friends of or something. And by the time we woke up the next day in California, they contacted him saying, you've got to get to the UK. So he came over to the UK to find this huge mansion house about 2 years away from just being, disappearing forever and ever and ever. It's an amazing story. There's a book called Downton Abbey. Anyway, so he'd been out over here. He moved the entire family. He was an actor, director, is a comedian as well. Moved his entire family over to the UK to start work on this project. And my understanding is the council were kind of looking after it, but he was like an ambassador for it because he could get more funding than the council could to do conservation. Anyway, it's a great story. Reached out to him saying, love it. How can we support you? How can we raise money for you? And he went, lovely, great. But we haven't even got a roof, at the moment. We can't really facilitate stuff. But we'll let you know as and when. So that was that. Then what happened to you last year?
Out the blue, again, I was literally just on my way out the door, and the Haunted Heritage phone rang, and I answered it quickly, and it was this lady who was a PR for Hotwood, and she was in London, and said obviously we'd reached out to her, and I says and she says well, we're doing some filming in a week's time, would you be interested in going up? So I said, well, it's difficult just to turn up. We would like to have a site visit first, just to see what it's all about. And what they wanted us to do was to film with them, and this was going to go out live to in America on one of their shows. So I rang Mitch straight up. I said, well, I'll get back to you. And then got in touch with Mitch straight away. And anyway, I got the lady back. She was on the train up from London. And I said, we'll go. So then Hotwood himself rang and said thank you for agreeing to do this, and he arranged to meet Mitch and myself up there, and we parked up in this cart track. It was chucking it down with rain, and this American guy met us, and we walked up to the property. And I mean, we love dilapidated places, providing they've got a roof on, and they've done a hell of a lot of work there. And he showed us around and the stuff that we was picking up, and then we went back up the following week to do some filming. And to be honest, the whole experience was brilliant, to be involved with a professional film crew, from the sound engineers and cameras, and they couldn't have been more professional and helpful and friendly, weren't they, Mitch? Really, they really were very, very friendly. So
one of my random inquiries turns out was going out across America on Halloween morning. So there we are.
That is wonderful. So what sort of thing did they cover on the show then?
Well, there wasn't too much. There was us. There was a bit of filming where we was in one of the rooms talking, and then there was a little bit on the table, because we did a bit of table tipping.
Americans don't understand that, do they?
No.
Well, no, they didn't.
Because stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, because the lady that was interviewing us, and Hotwood himself, when we did the table, thank goodness it worked, because it doesn't always. She literally, after it did, she just went, wow, what was that? What's just happened? So you're trying to explain what's happened. And I think it blew them both away, in all honesty, because there was talking about it for a little while. And then we did some automatic writing. So there was little bits of clip from a few little bits of filming. I mean, we were there a good hour and a half doing filming. So obviously they've got to condense it down into other stuff. And there was other stuff there. It weren't just us. So it is a project that he's doing. I wish him well, because it will be stunning when it's done. Absolutely stunning.
We will be getting people watching from the US, so it's their afternoon, and it goes onto Things Network. So how do you describe table tipping? I was actually a guest on a US Facebook show, and he just found it so funny. He says it's a UK thing, because the US people do not know what it is. It's not part of what they do. So how would you describe it then, Jill?
Oh, right. Okay. How I describe it as a communication tool, no different to the spirit board or the Ouija board, whichever you want to call it. And it is energy, the people that are on the table. I do an opening for it, a protection opening, and try people to bring down their energy through your arms, through your fingers, and into the actual table itself. And if you can create enough energy, then you're hopeful that spirit will again communicate through that energy and to move the table. No different to the Ouija board and the planchette. Very, very similar to that, only it's just a table. But I think the thing is, with a table, you can either get either no movement or very small movement, or it's absolutely wow. It can move that much. And because of that and that alone, it's a big impact on people and what they see. And they're all there at the end trying to debunk it, because they can see your fingers clearly on the top. So there's no evidence here of pushing or what. You can't physically do it. We've even had it where our fingers have been the opposite way round, just to convince people. But the minute you come off, you always get one of those that's kind of looking underneath the table.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But as I said, it's to me, that's how I would describe it. It's a communication tool created by energy. Really, but it is a wow factor.
Good at public events specifically. I was working on an event, and basically we used the table. It's going down a school corridor, and it was like it was being used as a Zimmer frame.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
another person was using it to walk with. Then all of a sudden, it went crazy. It's like it was trying to kill someone with it. All of a sudden, it got loads of energy, and you kind of felt the difference between.
Oh, well, you do. I mean, for all the times we've been using it, and it's still a wow factor, and I know it is for Mitch as well, and for me. But there are different energies sometimes that you can feel, and to me, I mean, it has had a wow factor, but one in particular stands out to me, and that again was in a local venue. I think it was in Rothley, and it has connections to the Knights Templar and that kind of thing.
Wow.
Then I was doing this table tipping with 4 other people, and I can only describe it as lightly just flying across the floor with no effort whatsoever, and that to me was a shocker, because it was, even to me who's seen it umpteen times, it didn't float, but it felt it. It was that light, and it moved with so much ease. It was diabolical to me. So
I find the table thing rather interesting, because it's either doesn't work for me or it affects me really, really badly. It's like I've either been chased by a table, I've been zapped by a table. When we're at Hotwood Hall, I had to get off the table because someone was like whacking me around the head. That's what it felt like. And so it's either one or the other for me, complete extremes. It's quite nice seeing the comments down here, because Ellen Murray's commented that she was, we had a table walk almost out of a room at Jedburgh Castle. Wow, that sounds fantastic.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, if you can get it going, there's nothing like it, and it is a wow factor. And when we ask people at the end of the night, what was the best bit for you? If we've had the table going, it's banging. Oh no, the table, so.
You deal with people of all different experience levels as well, which is, it's hard for you to like mix, you get the people who are there because the girlfriend's there or boyfriend or whatever, and they don't want to be there. You've got those who like everything's paranormal. And
this is the thing. Excuse my voice. This is the thing with events companies, and you're working with the public, and you just have to cater for absolutely everyone. We had an event just for Christmas time, and a guy came along, and he was absolute skeptic. Came along, challenged everything. Best night ever. Fortunately, lots of stuff happened, and then lo and behold, the next week is at another event with us, and that's absolutely brilliant.
That's
right. Again, things. I think at Halloween I get a bit knocked with that, because a lot of people just come along expect it to be like a horror show at Halloween, and sometimes it's one of the quietest nights. It's just it works.
Yeah, that's it.
So, it's always a challenge, but you meet some amazing people. There was this story with it. It's really, really cool. No, the local venue. About to start an investigation. 2 people hadn't turned up, so got my guest list out. Rang the number, and this bloke said, "Oh, it's all off. It's all off." No, what's happened? And I said, "No, the event's going ahead." He said, "Oh, no, it was a first date. We've annoyed each other so much. We're not going along. We've split up already." So,
oh my gosh,
so everyone, every man his dog.
To be honest, I think, and I think Michele, when we start any event, we always ask if anybody's done it before, and we call them virgin ghost hunters if they've not done anything before. And we try to bring a bit of humour into this introduction, in the fact that, we ask people, have you done it before? Are you new to it? Or have you just been dragged along by your partner? And they're quite honest about it. But seeing is believing, we know that. And we're not there to change anybody's mind. We're just there to try and give them the best opportunity that they can. So I've got somebody from Canada there. Did you see it?
I've got a slight confession, right? I'll even name the venue. So I was at Newstead Abbey a few years ago now, and it was a lad's 18th birthday, and his mum and his family brought him along, he was just wanting to be a bit of an I am. Anyway, I couldn't help myself, and I ended up putting him in an area by himself with a blindfold on. And leaving. It wasn't that far away. I wasn't anywhere near him, but it's just kind of thing. Anyway, and I put a timer on him, kind of thing, and I might let it run over a little bit, kind of thing. Anyway, I just went back and tapped him on the shoulder just for good effect, kind of thing. Anyway, so I told you, get on all right. Oh, you know, it's fine. I'm trying to do the big man coming back. And I just forgot about it. And it's about 2 years later on, him and a load of friends came along to another event. He said, you won't want to remember me. On my 18th birthday, you put me at Newstead Abbey by myself on a lone vigil.
Wow.
And I started to get a bit of a flashback.
Oh, no.
He just says the best night he'd ever had and how he thoroughly enjoyed it. And yet, nothing actually happened. It was just his own, you know,
Yeah.
energy. Yeah.
That's
I'm not
brilliant.
a bad person, really, honest, guys.
Yeah, but, you know, some people like they want to try it. I was at Drakelow, and I was working there, and we're all standing where all the tunnels like converge, so right in the centre bit, and we all stood there and basically said, right, okay, you go up there, you go up there. There's this guy, skeptic. There you go. You know, his mates are there just taking the mickey out of him all the time. So he went down this tunnel, and they said quietly to Spirit, can you just punch him in the face? And all of a sudden, he came running down, nearly screaming because something had tapped him on the face.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, you know, when you get a skeptic who's like taking the mickey and everything else, and all his mates are like, you know, going for it as well. And like, oh, it's so funny, isn't it? Don't you just
It
love
is,
it when it
especially if you get somebody that's skeptic, you know, there is something that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a good story for you then. So there's a place called Abington Park Museum in Northampton.
I'd love to go there, yeah.
And for several years I've been trying to get in there, but you had exclusive access with one particular company.
Yeah.
But eventually managed to get in there. And it was okay. It was a fine, you know, okay venue, bits and bobs were happening kind of thing. And then have you booked it 3 times during that year? I can't remember. Must have been 3 times. Anyway, and on the 3rd time, just nothing was happening at all. And I just thought, you know what? There's just no point coming back to this venue.
Yeah.
And so for the last 20 minutes, and my team will, especially Natalie, if you listen to this, she'll verify this. Last 20 minutes, I'm desperate to do anything anywhere in this building. And I get radioed the team, get everyone together by Buddha. There's a massive statue of Buddha. Get them by Buddha. We'll meet up and we'll do something together. And we just got the table out, everyone just standing around, and a few people on it. I mean, nothing, just to see if anything happens here, just trying to have a bit of banter and all the rest of it. And this table, with no word of a lie, buggered off. It literally slid straight across this laminate floor, hit carpet, and then marched all the way through 2 exhibitions into the War Memorial section. It had it's like a slice with all war memorial names up the side.
Wow.
Walked all the way in there. I mean, this is just shocking stuff. And then Natty just says, is your name in here? It's like giving this the instructions, and then starts tapping at the wall just gently. So Natalie starts reading the names off this memorial wall to a certain name, and then all hell broke out, and this table is just kicking off.
Wow.
And he was so mad that was going on. I ran to go and get the site staff just to see it. It was incredible. And we've had similar experiences every time we've been there. And that's a venue we're 20 minutes away from never returning to.
Yeah. Well, you just don't know, do you? I went into a venue in Nottingham, and basically I went in like it was private, and half the person who booked it cleared off, just leaving me with about 4 people who I didn't particularly know. So we're in the cellar of it, and it was the first spiritual communication with this little girl. So I got this story of this little girl, and one of the people with me, she got pendulum and she's validating it. And it's the first time I'd ever spoke to spirit in that way.
Yeah.
So the next time I went to the location, I actually booked on a public event, and they said, "Oh, it's really lively." Well, I set foot on it, dead all the time, apart from one bloke on the staircase just stomping up and down. And he just, you know, and he's just so like stomping, and they just didn't know what was going on. It was always active there, whatever. 5 o'clock in the morning, I said, "Are you the girl's father?" And it was.
Wow.
So it just went chaotic because basically he'd pushed his wife down the stairs and killed her in front of the daughter.
Oh,
wow.
And obviously I knew the story. There's more to There's more to it. With this guy, he comes into a past life regression, and the whole thing with this guy is absolutely mad. But yeah, it's too long a story. But yeah, it's just mad, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
And things can really change. Like I was out on Saturday, and it's a weird night, but the energy from the beginning of the night to the end of the night, it got horrible.
Really?
It was a real dark spirit, and it was just so horrible in the end. You're like, I don't want to be here anymore. It was. I don't know what came through, but there was a really difference between the beginning and the end.
Wow.
It's a few hours, isn't it?
Yeah. And you have to admit that people's energies can actually contribute to either things happening or not happening or being
That's
attracted.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I found, because if you get like, oh gosh, you sometimes get people who just stand there, arms like that. You just know well nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know straight away that, oh no,
Yeah.
We've said is why would they come? Why would they come if they're just there and all this, that, and the other? But everybody to their own. Maybe they're there to try.
You just hope that they do actually get something, and if they do it, it's just rewarding, isn't it? If somebody like that all of a sudden they realise that there's something around and think, wow, that's it. Then they'll get the friends to come. Yeah. That's it. Because obviously you get the people, oh no, it's a load of rubbish, and I used to think that, used to think mediumship was as well. But I'm learning.
It's interesting how venues can actually change. The energy can just change. Like, Jill, I know that you've been to some venues, like on Halloween. I mean, two particular venues in particular, and they've just been absolutely dead. And it's really difficult to try and egg it up, because it has been so amazing in the past. But sometimes that's what you get, and
that's what it is. I mean, we don't make this up. If it happens, it happens. It can be the most exciting night out, or it can be as flat as a dodo. And I do remember, there was one Halloween. It fell on a Saturday, which was brilliant.
Oh wow, brilliant! Yeah,
I took a team, and this venue was active, and it still is to this day, and it never ever disappoints. But it did on that day. And I just thought, you can't make this up. It was just dead. Yeah. Well, like trying to get blood out of stone. Never mind.
There's some venues that have only had the one opportunity to go and investigate. So like the Nottingham Council House. I mean, that was brilliant. Once again, random email. Obviously, that's where we met properly, wasn't it, Jacqueline? But there's a noise around, which is the ding ding of the trams continuously. And then there's another venue we flukily got into in Kelmarsh Hall in Northampton. Absolutely had the most incredible night experience. Even just go for the daytime, it's amazing. But unfortunately, there have been some internal comings and goings, change of management, and they wouldn't allow ghost hunting to go in again, which is a real shame, actually, because it was incredible.
It was incredible.
It's a shame, because people can see it in a bad light, can't they? And that's it. We're not doing any harm. We're going into these premises. We're respecting it, and they're getting money out of it as well. But it is what it is.
The venues that we're going to be unfortunately walking away from this year, and that is some of the Derby museums, but they're being withdrawn from public hire simply because of the running costs, nighttime heating, and all the rest of it. So we're chasing down some new venues in Derbyshire now.
So the one on Agard Street, then, is that going? The Pickford House?
No, that's still on the cards if we want it. No, that's definitely still on the cards.
The Mill and the Museum and Art Gallery, they've both been withdrawn from.
It's good to so well.
It's a shame, because they were brilliant, accessible venues, and not many companies offer accessible venues. But it is what it is.
I went when the Poppies were there, and that's when it's closing down, wasn't it?
That's stunning, wasn't it?
I've got those photos of that, and it's the only time I've really seen it, but I've never actually been in. And I really wanted to. I wanted to book on your event, but I was always busy, or I've always got something on to. But
here's another venue story for you. So, I'm trying to get into an aviation kind of place.
Wow.
Anyway, and I come across this recent. That was Northampton as well, wasn't it? And there's a place called Grafton Underwood. Okay, look it up, and it was an American air base. Anyway, so I'd been chatting to this guy, and we'd arranged to meet up, right? But he didn't actually tell us where this location was. Is you know, I've got to meet you somewhere else, and we had to go to a village and park up next to was it a post box or a telephone box?
No, a phone box.
A phone box, random.
Yeah.
Park by this phone box, and I will find you. Right?
Yeah.
So
What did we do?
we even did a video just in case we got killed, you know. Just to post it somewhere.
We're serious. We did this video and we said, look, this is Gill and Mitch. This is where we are. This is the phone box. If you don't see how to let the police know.
Yeah. And then we met this random bloke. And then we had to drive to the middle of nowhere to a gate.
Yeah.
Let us through the gate. And then we had to close the gate behind us. And then we'll literally just take it into this forest. Not a wood, a forest. For flipping miles. You know, my little TT bang, bang, bang and all the rest of it. And we honestly thought we were going to get murdered.
Oh, no.
Anyway, they took us into this building, which was a bit dubious. Anyway, it's going to be amazing. The Americans are going to be supporting some funding there and make it into a visitor centre. It's going to be fantastic in about 10 years' time. Wow. That was scary. That was.
Yeah, we've had some good stuff. We really ought to write a book, haven't we?
Yeah.
A day in the life of a ghost hunter.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And he says, sadly, venue hire charges increasing everywhere, making it difficult to interest folk attending.
I know.
It's
totally agree. It is absolutely shocking. I mean, we've noticed a big hike since COVID. I understand that, but at the end of the day, Haunted Heritage really do like to keep our ticket prices doable for people. You know,
the cost of
we don't want to outprice, people where they wouldn't come. But on the same token, these venue hires costs are just going up and up, and it's a struggle. You know, people will say, "Oh, your price has gone up." It's not us.
That's right.
It's the venue.
Yeah.
You know, they're quick to blame you, but you it just costs like, I've booked venues and I've gone for the cheaper ones, the ones without the glass in the windows and things like that.
Exactly.
Some of those are done to death, aren't they?
Absolutely.
You have beautiful historic buildings.
Yeah. That's the one thing I mean, you have noticed, and that is we're not seeing any new venues coming on. We're seeing a lot of regular venues being used lots and lots and lots.
Yeah.
And so we're really keen to keep our exclusive access. In one venue, they've whacked up their prices so much. As amazing as it is, we cannot justify it. You took it ridiculous increase. Can't do it.
We have to step back. So they'll do themselves out of it, really.
That's right. Like how you've got through COVID.
We did. We did. We survived.
Painful.
I'm sure some didn't, did they? Really? And businesses didn't. But it's good.
It has been, and now like they're on about changing the energy costs and things like that. So you've got another. There's
a lot of things. I think when petrol suddenly went up, we noticed a lack of ticket sales then, and rightly so. People ain't going to want to travel when it's costing them nearly £2, per gallon. And then if it weren't, then it's the leaking gas bills. It's just not good, is it really? Although petrol's come down quite significantly.
Yeah. So I was working out it's 19p a mile. So if I go somewhere 30 miles each way, it's there, isn't it, on top of the ticket price? I tend to sort of stay within like an hour's drive. I get tired.
And as you said, Jackie, it's that travel time. So like, I know you mentioned this earlier, and the fact that we are very much East Midlands based. Yes. But the people, like you've got Lincolnshire, onto to the right, well, to be looking them out to the side of us, and they struggle to go and find venues. And so wherever they are, they've got like a 2-hour drive in any direction just to go get them.
Right.
So we were lucky when we had a random communication from the National Trust, who never allow anyone in,
No, exactly.
invite us to Tattershall Castle. And so it was really interesting. We had some of our guests went, our regular guests went along.
I wanted to go on that, but I was busy. Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what, make sure you're fit before you go, because you're up
Oh
and down.
God, the tower. Yeah, because I stayed
Yeah,
there.
it was unbelievable. Yeah.
I was there for New Year, right near it, and so
Yeah.
we left the caravan, and like straight away you could see it.
Oh,
Beautiful.
it's
So we
stunning,
walked
absolutely
round,
stunning.
but it was closed, so we couldn't get in it. I guess that's good with all steps. But yeah, but that's
it's the
it.
next day.
Some of the locations are terrible, aren't they? Going up and down steps.
Yeah,
You don't realise.
just how
Like
you have to
Pickford
do.
Hall's up and down steps a bit, but there's totally worse ones than that, isn't there?
Yeah. Mind you, Gresley's a bit like that, isn't it?
Oh.
You're up and down with Gresley as well, and they're narrow and
Put
things
your
like
foot
that.
through
So
it. Yeah.
yeah.
I was out once, they put the foot through a floorboard. Yeah. And
Mind you, sometimes Mitch and I have been to these venues, and it's like the owners apologising because, well, you know, this is a bit dilapidated and all this, that, and the other. And I think you don't get it. You know, this is what guests are looking for. They're looking for that atmospheric and visual thing, you know, the derelict thing.
Which lines me up for two cracking venue stories, right? Because I've got loads of them, right? So you were just saying it's a bit dilapidated and a bit conscious about it, right? There is a venue in Leicester called the Knoll. It is the Botanical Gardens, part of the Leicester University. Stunning building, amazing, right? One of our psychic mediums, Pete Barry, used to be the chef there. He can tell the stories how haunted it is. One of my other friends used to just work there. It's got excellent provenance, okay? So 5 years ago, I contacted them. And me and Jill went to go and have a little look around, and they're kind of making all the appropriate oohs and ahs. But all of a sudden, you couldn't go into certain areas because they had some health and safety stuff done. Okay, fair enough then. So we left it. Next year, contacted them. I've done the health and safety stuff yet? No, they hadn't. Okay, we left it. If 20 happened, we'll leave it. Contact them again a few weeks ago, just saying, where are we now? Have you managed to get your health and safety stuff done? You just don't have to do with it. Some windows need to be replaced. It was something random. And it's come back that the building's completely closed down now and no one's allowed into it.
What a shame.
So that's taken 5 years to get that. But even better than that, there's, and I'm going to say where it is because it's just hilarious, this. Leicester Castle, you'll see it.
Going.
Next to Leicester Castle, there's a venue called Castle House, I do believe it's called, and belong to the City Council, no, the County Council, and it's where the circuit judge used to stay. Okay,
wow,
very old.
Like Judges Lodges in Preston or somewhere. Yeah.
It's a beautiful building. One of our investigators is a painter and decorator, and he went and painted and decorated it, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and said how haunted it was, what was going on, right? Cracking venue. So I used to work for the the county council, and I reached out to the correct department. And I've known this particular gentleman for quite a long time. And he said, we can't do it just yet. It's still being used. Okay, so give it a year, go back. How are we getting on with this? He says, do you know what? After lockdown, it's looking good. I'm sure we'll be able to sort something out for you. I can wait. Go back after lockdown. Oh, no, we're not too... there's a little bit of plaster's gone and fallen off the ceiling. We're not too sure. Need to get that repaired first, don't we? Going on. Give it another year. A few months ago, contacted him again. I said, where are we? You know, can I go in there? Can I hire it yet? And he just said, oh, no, I think we're going to be... The building's going to be sold now. You go... Oh, right. I said, can you tell me if De Montfort University will be buying it, because that will make my life so much easier. But it's just ongoing. It was always a barrier why you couldn't use it.
But this is up for sale now. The last time we went, the sale signs up. So
So for 5 years, that building's been empty.
Yeah.
You know, tragic. Anyway, so there's me pestering people.
Yeah, but if you don't ask, you don't get, do you?
Exactly.
You got a place near me. There's a similar place that I'd like to go to as well. But for you, it was too small, But for a handful of people, it'd be quite cool.
Exactly.
There is another one near me as well, like that. So I need to look into things like this, I think.
Mind you, small venues like that, to be honest. I mean, we do I suppose you want to call it a busman's holiday. You know, we ask the staff what they want to do at Christmas or whatever, and they just want to go ghost hunting. So, you know, if it's a smaller venue, we hire a place.
If you're working, you can't play, can you?
That's absolutely right. So
you've got responsibility, and I think a lot of people who actually work for events teams don't always realise they've got responsibility.
Absolutely,
they've got to realise that it's not about them enjoying it. You've got to cater for what everyone wants. And you guys do that, so it's cool.
Yeah. Having a social night out, or being with an investigative team, or being with an event team, and they're all just completely different. So it's
Michelle's been out with I think you were probably on my first and third, where I booked a location and we just went for it, and we let spirit just come right in, and we just went for it basically. Whereas in like on a public event, it just seems a lot safer. You know, everything's protected and everything. But if you just go out and
you have to be. You've got a responsibility, haven't you? You know, when you do your own thing, you're responsible for yourself only, aren't you? So
that's right. Yeah, that was my insurance in case. But because
it does make my heart sing when you got customers or guests on an event, and they know that you're working for their enjoyment. I mean, it's great when you come on, Jacqueline, because you know what we're trying to do, and whilst you're doing your thing, it's almost you just having a quiet word with us and how you're finding this, how you're finding that, and that's really appreciated. We really love that, you know.
I just I do come along because of a location, obviously, and because I like it, and it's good. You know, I do enjoy it. I do keep away from like table tipping and things sometimes, but you know, it just depends. But I just kind of zone out and just see what I can get anyway, and just sit in a corner or something. But I'm there with energy if it's needed. So
I think the last time I investigated with you was that at Woollerton? We're down in the tunnel, and just go to the end there, Jacqueline.
Oh God, no!
Keep going. I can still see
that.
Going,
that was cool. It's quite funny because I actually volunteered at Woollerton Hall, and it's for Halloween. And basically, I was there to scare the children, which isn't difficult. So I stood the ring, and the lady used to walk, Madam Parboiled. Kath. So Kath was taking them round on this tour, and I was supposed to jump out. And I says, well, actually, you know, if you want, I says, I'll go and stand down. They both, you know, where the bath is. I'll go and sit there for half an hour and wait for everyone. Oh no, it's cold, and oh no, it's fine. I don't mind. So that was cool. So I recorded me walking in it, and then we're just sitting there, just calling out on my own down there. It's awesome. And then she decided that she wanted me to see like what her ghost walk was like. So we did that.
I have to be honest with you, if you did that and I were a kid and I'd got led down there, you'd scare the hell out of me. I don't, I'm thinking, because I know where you mean, and I'm thinking it's scary at the best of times. So if Madam Barboil is taking a load of kids down there, my life.
Oh, it was awesome because there's a little dodgy flashing light. So as you get right to the end where the bath bit is,
yes, that's right.
Flashing light. So I was just round that corner hiding. I once screwed, they all did. It's brilliant.
I've just seen the comment down here from Eileen. Historic Scotland has closed off almost all of their sites since COVID. That's a shame.
That is such a shame. Yeah. Why would they do that? Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
And you would have thought on the back of the TV program that's been, airing. With Chris Flannery, that it would have been, create a bit more.
Yeah, and Dale Porter. What is it? Haunted Scotland or something, isn't it?
That sounds a shame to hear.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I do like Scotland though, because you can't. Well, I have sort of gone around these castles and things, and they're right in the middle of nowhere, and I've taken the dog as well because I've got on holiday for 2 weeks, and I've just bumped into people today from Facebook. And he did actually pick up an attachment at one location.
Wow.
He picked up a tick.
Brilliant.
Oh, my life. Yeah.
It must be, I think Scott's probably gone to do his own show that starts at 9. But yeah, there's this castle and another castle right near it. And we just sit in. I said, "Oh, let's sit on the floor, let's listen and see what we get." All of a sudden, my dog starts growling at something. Then the REM pod went off in that direction, so I was dead chuffed about that. But he's seen about 4 ghosts. He's
I've got a question for you, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
What if people say to you, what do you do for a living, or what do you do as a hobby? And obviously you're a ghost hunter. How do you approach that, or do you take people by surprise, or
awkward? Depends. Like with my job, it's fine now, but when you first start it, it's kind of it's hard to broach the subject.
Yeah.
Now I'm on comment at the moment to my old boss when I went sort of doing more the mediumship and the reading sort of side of things.
Yeah.
I kind of mentioned it, and like she was intrigued and she wanted to know more about it, and she even asked for a reading. But it's
what about just random people or random situations, not so much your boss or whatever?
I just drop it on them for a laugh.
As you know, recently
weird. It's up to them,
I broke my wrist, and Mitch kindly took me to the hospital. But the day after, I had to go to my local one because they only put me in a temporary thing. So of course they then say to me, "How did you do it?" And so I says, "Well, I walked into a beam in an attic." Well, what were you doing up in an attic? And then there I am saying, "Well, you're going to laugh when I tell you this. I'm a ghost hunter." And to be honest, I would say, I don't know about you, Mitch or Jacqueline, but I would honestly say that probably about 85-90% of people are intrigued. Oh, wow. Tell me more. Or you'll get some folks that will say, "Oh, yeah, right." So it's always, I just think it's just, an interest. Sometimes you can say, "Well, what do you do?" Well, I'm a ghost hunter.
I can take this because I was actually in a meeting. I'm working on a project at the moment, and we're just it's just gone live. And I went the last project meeting, and he said, "Oh, are you doing anything at a weekend?" I says, "Yes." "Oh, we're going out?" "Not quite. Do something unusual." "Go on then, spill it." You do, don't you?
Yeah.
Wow. He says, "Oh, I live near there." So sort of
I just find it really intriguing, and of course, if you're in that position where they ask you what you do, and to be honest, then they bombard you then, I think, with questions, do you believe? And
they've had an encounter as well. How many times do they mention it? They've actually had an encounter themselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do. They want to share it.
Yeah.
Make out they don't believe it, and all of a sudden they go, "Well, this happened actually," and like, there you go.
Yeah. It's a nice comment that Genius is going to put up there. They give you a ghost story back when you tell them.
Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
That's absolutely right. They do.
Eileen's the winner. Give them a card and they'll check out Fits on Facebook page. I've got to meet up with Eileen. I'm going to Scotland in September, so I need to know where I'm going. So.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Okay. 2 weeks. Here's a funny one. So over the winter time, December, last year was my year of adventures, trying lots of different weird and wonderful things. Right?
It was funny. I love it.
I was an elf, a Christmas elf. So there I am in a complete elf kit with all my thermals on underneath, having my lunch break with all the other elves. Right? Got talking about ghosts. So started handing out my business cards, and there's going to be a load of elves coming on a ghost event soon.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
but it must be weird if they do come. Did they come to an event?
They're going to come.
All right, because that's going to be a bit weird, isn't it?
I don't recognise them. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's right. Yeah, you might look like an elf.
Yeah. But Eileen, I'm going to be in Edinburgh middle of March time for a whole week, so I'm planning on going out there and seeing some spooky places?
I meant to go 2020, Easter 2020, going with Wes Coleman and meeting, I think he's a chef. Don't know if he's with Eileen with the team at one stage. Forgot his name, but yeah, and Colin Connor was going to meet a few people at Edinburgh. But of course, like COVID just did that, didn't it? But yeah. So the guy from Canada earlier, I was due to meet him at Edinburgh.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah.
Ali.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was due to meet Ali, Wes, and Colin Connor. And yeah, that would have been so cool, wouldn't it? But yeah.
Yeah.
Things happen. Yeah. So I'll do a 2-week tour. I went up a couple of years ago. 7 different campsites, 14 nights. Oh, God. And half the time
I've only twice been to up Scotland. Once to Edinburgh, and this was in my paid day job. I went to a conference, and to be honest, it was in this amazing hotel opposite Edinburgh Castle. And then the other time, my niece got married up there, so twice. But yeah, I've got to get up there. I just want to do a bit of touring.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Yeah.
Stunning, but oh my gosh, it's just trying to cover places because I actually went to Skye. So I've been about 3 or 4 times. 4 times, yeah. Been to Harris Lewis, been to the Orkneys, I've been to see a lot of Scotland. It's but it's just
my husband and son went up to Inverness.
Oh, lovely, stayed there.
But boys' holiday. But yes, I'll get up there. Yeah,
because I do photography, but it's horrible. While everyone was there, it was awful. So I haven't actually worked on the photos yet because it's just all grey. And anytime it wasn't grey, I got attacked by the midges, and I hate them. The vile things.
Never mind.
Yeah, but
we want to talk about venues. So you're going to book some venues yourself for your own little private events.
Yeah.
What was the booking experience for you? Did you know where you wanted to go? And
well, yeah, because I know the place like the back of my hand. There's 2 venues I did really. I think I was going to branch out and go to different venues, but because of COVID, you found because I'd started about 1920, because people who had booked the venues in 20 were then rebooking them, so you couldn't get in anywhere. Yeah. So I got Matlock Pavilion, which is I love that place. Did Robin Hood and obviously Haunted Antiques a few times, but yeah.
So here's another question for you then. So as a customer, you booking somewhere, what do you look at? Are you just looking for the venue, the history, is it the parking? Is it
price in a way?
Price. Yeah.
Because I do it to share it out with people, also because it was generally the price really. But also I knew the place, and it's because I wanted time to investigate it the way I wanted to. I wanted to be able to do live feeds.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay in a room. The thing is about events, you can only stay in a room for so long because you've got all the guests who, they need to go in that room, and and it's just for you to manage, that you've got to do it that way. But then if you're on your own, you just can, there's nothing happening there, let's move on. And and I just try to keep it low numbers. So basically I think I only had 6 there, which was brilliant. And it was just a mixture of people as well working together. People who all have their own techniques, and you go in without an ego. We just work together, and that was nice. But and,
it's good.
And if I didn't know each other, they'd seen each other on Facebook, and now they talk to people. I've met Von. I met Von a couple of times, which is brilliant. I've met AJ, but I don't know if AJ's still around. But there's a lot of people I've met. Mark Dudley. And it's just been great, to see people on Facebook, but then to actually meet them.
Yeah.
Lois as well, who's been doing the shows with me. I went to Scotland, spent 3 nights. Oh my God, Popping Candyman, Mark Warbank. Oh, he is awesome. You know. Oh God. Yeah. What can I say? It's a long story, but I bought him popping candy. Sometimes you have to. Yeah. Here you go, Gina. Like
Yes.
Gina, I help her out of jail as well. So, it's just wonderful that people I have met.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
I have to be honest. I agree with you. I think both me and Mitch are people. People's person. We just love meeting people, and I think that's why we excel at a customer based thing, because we've just met friends with everybody. I just love meeting, and you get to know them, and even the new people that come along. We make a beeline for them to try and get to know them and for them to enjoy it. But you meet such lovely people.
Yeah,
Some
it's
funny
like
characters as
I've
well.
started hosting again, and straight away you can take the mickey. Oh, who do you believe? Da, da, da. I'm skeptic. Oh, okay then. We'll put you in a corner. You can build out a rapport straight away, can't you? And you I quickly work out what suits me. And naturally you do, don't you? People person, but Von, she waited ages for her cut and all. She got there and there's too many people. But and there's a few people who've just done Hickleton Hall, some filming there.
So, well, we went there. That's where we went, didn't we? Yeah. With the portable loos outside.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Hickleton.
Yeah, we went once, and we weren't impressed with it. There's about one particular active area. We didn't find anything else in other areas we were allowed to go into at that time, which were different from the areas we were shown when we went there. Yeah. But then we were told that they weren't allowing any more investigations. It's going to be used for filming only.
More filming, weren't it? She was going to run it herself. Yeah, she was going to run it herself, and so.
Yeah, she said they used to be there a few years ago, but it was it was a film that they were doing. They were doing filming for the whole weekend, so here we go. Louisa was there, and oh, cheers.
We're coming back. You along too.
Louisa and Ben are awesome. Ben's a demonologist, and Louisa is as well. And
that's
Winfield. That's it. Yeah, so I know you got the name Winfield now. Yay! I've got married last year. So
when we're looking for our events, and then this is the whole thing, the difference between an investigation team and an events company is that we've been to some venues and we've walked away from them because we just haven't had. They might have the provenance, but there'd be just other stuff about it. So like there wouldn't be any car parking nearby. Well, you've got people arriving at straight after a long journey or leaving, in the early hours of the morning. You need a car park nearby, kind of thing, or somewhere safe. And we were very thinking about that. We walked away from a few venues in Coventry, didn't we? Because of car parking. I know there's the whole dropping off your kit and
gosh,
think about those logistics. I mean, it's got to the point where the toilets now was it one venue? They hadn't got any lights, so we had to. There's no lock on the door for the toilet and no lights.
Draco Tunnel was always the best.
Well, Draco Tunnel, we used to have to take in either a torch with us and leave it on the floor. And the toilet paper was always cold and damp. The Hickleton Hall, I've just seen a comment come up from a lady, and she was saying that the toilets are now indoors now. Brilliant, but when we went, there was two portaloos outside, and there were no lights in them neither, and it was bloody freezing when we went. And I'm thinking, oh my God, it was awful.
And when we arrived, the all the rubbish from the previous month's investigation.
Oh yes, it was.
Just left there, so we had to sanitize everything down before we even used the table. But those are the happy long days.
But it just sounds a beautiful location. But but you just don't know what you're walking into, do you? Whenever you go somewhere like Jill, you pick up stuff, don't you?
But you
get a few surprises, don't you?
Sometimes. Yes, sometimes I'm very cautious when I go to a venue. I love going into venues, and as a psychic medium, you know, I don't go in fully open up, because that would be silly. You know, it'd be like opening your door to bloody Jack the Ripper. Oh, I don't do that, but I do go in very cautiously. And as I get into the building, I open myself up and then pick things up. There has been the odd occasion where I have felt it the minute I've literally walked in.
Wow.
You know, and sometimes, you know, Mitch and I, we bounce off each other really, very, very good. And she'll say to me, you know, what are you picking up? And we've hit this with the Southwick Hall. Sometimes the very first time we did a recce round there, and she asked me what I was picking up, I says, I can only tell you there's that much, and it's just wishing around.
Wow.
And I was struggling to pinpoint one thing or one spirit. But then when we went and we did the investigation, you know, I can concentrate a whole lot better. So, yeah, it's like when we were talking about Buxton, Mitch, when we went to the Crescent. The minute I walked in, you know, I don't go off by myself, but, you know, we do the talking, but Mitch does a lot of the talking, whereas I open myself up. Yeah. And I'm thinking, well, what's here? What's it? There were just nothing. It wasn't even. There were just.
I don't know. That is so weird, isn't it?
It is.
Really,
yeah,
I don't get that.
Mm.
I kind of find that you got spirit, because like you've got the land, you've got the spirits passing you, you've got spirits with you, thing. But
you know what? If you believe in the theory, and I'm sure we all do, is that the stone tape theory, residual energy, it's in, you know, it's in the walls, it's in the mortar, it's in the ground, and all this that here. You think at what happened to the Crescent? How much did they spend, Mitch? A load of money doing it all. That place was ripped out. Because when we went, you know, it was lovely, but it was brand new plaster, it was brand new everything. There was nothing to us original about that place. It had had its innards ripped out. That's the only way I can
shame, because
explain
the area,
it.
you think it would be listed, surely.
There's a lot of ghost stories in the area, going back from Roman sightings. I mean, it's an amazing history for that town, and it's just unfortunate that I got very excited about this beautiful building.
Yeah, I was, because I saw it when they were reopening it. Because I was excited, thought, oh my gosh, you know, they've done something about it. How good is that?
It's so modern inside. It really is, but I just think it's had its innards ripped out for all the right reasons for them. You know, they've got to explore it. They've got to, you know, spend some money on it and bring it back up to its glory. But and what they did is they literally just ripped everything out. And of course, as I said, if you believe in the theory of, you know, the stone tape theory and residual energy, it's all around you. But not when they're out.
Another one to throw into the mix, and that is we've been to several venues, one particular venue, and they're all up for us going in and doing everything. When you come to sign absolutely everything off, awesome, you can't do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
One venue. This made Gill. One venue. I went to go and sign all the paperwork off, and they went through all the things we couldn't do, which is new after discussing this for so long. And one of the things we couldn't do was use psychic mediums, which would have meant that Gill could never ever go there. Half the couldn't go there. You couldn't do any calling out. You couldn't hold hands in any way. I mean, it's kind of like, seriously? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Bye-bye.
Quickly. You got out of it.
Again.
You got out of it quickly then. You got out of the contract.
Oh yeah, no, you can't do that. What's the point? Yeah.
You've got no problem. Then you say to us, right, you know, you've got to be out by midnight. You know, like Gresley, that's a good example.
Oh, I know.
Other venues might say, don't mind what you do, but don't use spirit board. Fine.
Fair enough.
Not a problem. But when you say you can't have your business partner there.
I know. That's absolutely mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it is crazy. It is crazy. Yeah.
Hey,
so we just
got Glenn watching from the US.
Hello.
Hello. I wonder if he's talking about Hotwood Dupree. Whereabouts in the US is he from?
I can't remember. Where are you from, Glenn? Glenn likes using apps, so I sort of got to know Glenn because he likes using Brian Holloway apps.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, so that's how I got to know Glenn. Maybe 5-6 years ago, I think. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think Hotwood Dupree was from Michigan, weren't he?
Minneapolis. Oh God.
Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yeah.
Minnesota. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never tried to pronounce that before, and I can't.
One more thing I'll say about venues, I'm sure other people can agree with this, is that you go contact a venue and it all depends on who at that venue picks up your telephone call, your email, whether you get through to the correct person, just because of what their beliefs are. Whereas you'll know this place, Ruddington, the Frame Knitters Museum.
Yeah,
they
suddenly stopped, didn't they? They did events and they
suddenly
stopped.
He went into one of our old team members went to do the recce there during the daytime, came back, gave us a full report. Contacted them, didn't hear anything back. I then contacted on a different, I think it might have been on Saturday morning, got the young girl on the telephone, sassy staff. She says, yeah, not a problem. I'll pass you on to Nicola, who's the manager, straight through. We had a brilliant relationship, had events going there. It's amazing just how many people can block.
It's about who you get. Yeah,
definitely. Ron wants to know if there's any venues where you're not allowed to take photos or film.
No, there is. We haven't got any.
There was one venue we weren't allowed to do live broadcasts from, and I can't remember where it was, but that didn't bother us because we didn't do them.
Yeah, that's right.
No, we've had it stated to us that it's only to be used for the purpose of our.
That's fine.
So we use it for the website or for social, our own guest page.
Personal use rather than commercial, isn't it? A lot of the time.
So we've had them say that, but other than that, we haven't had too much trouble at all, really.
I did go with another events company, and it says the photos are theirs, the video footage you take is theirs, and I got a bit mardy actually. I'd already booked to go, but when I spoke to them at the event about it, it wasn't as. It was basically put onto the contract because there were some places which are a bit funny, specifically like East Drive. You're not allowed. They say that whatever you take video is their property, which is,
No, I think they might have some kind of thing with that. Yeah,
there are some places like that. So you see that in the contract. But
Brixton Knitters Museum. We went there, didn't we, Mitch? Did we go and have a look there? Yeah, we did.
We did that, and we did the Gas Museum and walked away from both of them.
Oh yeah,
just not big enough for us.
Yeah,
I heard about the Gas Museum. Yeah. Oh, Eileen don't like that
East Drive is a waste of time. Yeah.
And Van was thinking of East Drive as well. But what do you think of East Drive? Have you been?
I have never been. We had some of our staff that has been, and their comments were straight up, whatever was there has long gone. That was their verdict.
Yeah. That's it.
So I don't know. People say they have a good time.
It's one of them, isn't it? You don't know what you're doing. You don't know if you're picking up, like, if somebody else has been the week before, if they've left something there. It might not necessarily be associated with the property.
No.
Yeah, I've heard of this one though, Eileen. The key holders next door, aren't they?
Dodgy knocking on the wall from next door.
Yeah, they live next door and they've got.
Your money's worth.
I've heard you see this, right?
I've heard of that one.
Yeah. There's a I'm not going to name it exactly, but there's a property kind of on the North Nottinghamshire Derbyshire border, and I went to go and visit it about 5-6 years ago, and Provenance, lovely. And as we're going round, the owners even said to me, we have to run down the stairs and flick the lights on and off when the people got an investigation on, right?
I remember that.
When I was in a particular area, I knew that something was cracking off. I couldn't put my finger on it. and one of them disappeared. And as we were going around this corner, they jumped out with this latex horror mask on to try to scare me. And at that point, I just said, "No, I think I'm just going to leave it," and just walked off site.
Yeah.
You can't trust them. You can't trust them. Yeah.
No, that's it, isn't it? Like, you know, Derby Jail, they do a ghost walk, someone jumps out. That's what it is, you know, it's entertainment. But then when you do investigate, it is, you know, a real investigation to see what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And but, oh God, no. It's mad, isn't it? Glad he likes exploring new places because no one's been there to bring out bad.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's good.
Says Glenn, who's worked with Brian Holloway on the D666 app, and he's talking about bringing out bad. You're brilliant. But yeah, Glenn's cool. So many teens visit every day. It's like a conveyor belt, and the place never rests. And
no. Sometimes I agree. Venues can be overdone. You know.
Yeah.
There's also, I know you mentioned Pickford's House earlier on. So quite a few years ago, because Derby Museums actually approached us to go and do events for them.
Wow.
That's how that one's come about. And we'll give them Pickford's House and the Silk Mill to start off with. Pickford's House wasn't particularly active. So we did go and knock that on their head. So they gave us the Derby Mag instead. No, so we went back to Pickford's House only this year. We're doing 2 investigations there, and they've been really good.
Oh, that's brilliant.
We're the only companies that have been allowed in there. So what happened? What made it go from a very nothing beautiful but nothing happening to actually is rather interesting.
That's that is, I don't know what changes things. I really don't. It is strange, isn't it? But it's great when you sort of get familiar with the place as well. So is this somewhere you're familiar with, Gillian, and the spirits all know you and you'll...
No, I would say that. Familiar with a lot of the places that we do go to.
Do you have the regular ones you talk to, though? Communicate with? No? Not
that I can recall.
Here we go.
The third keeps coming through. Excuse me?
Oh yeah, he does. No, not so much now. He did when we first started. It seemed as though Richard III were following us everywhere, and everything that we went to look at, there was links to Richard III. You know, so his head kept popping up. The only one that I do see on a regular basis is at Bow Manor Hall. I can't remember who he is, Mitch. The man that is like the coachman, that kind of person. With the trike, that's right. So he regularly shows his appearance, but I stick by this every time. There are so many layers. You know, through the ages, you know, one minute you can be picking up from somebody from the 1600, next time it's the 1700. And, you know, so it just depends, I believe, especially as me as a medium, is how much I open up and what layer that I'm picking up. You know, it's, and that to me is interesting. I mean, and there's stuff that comes up, you just think, wow. You know, where did that come from? I mean, a typical one, Mitch, is where for all the time we've been going to Donington Manor House, the 1620s, and then all of a sudden we're getting you know, a witch finder general. And you think, well, where the hell's he come up from? You know, so we've been going there easy for 4 years, haven't we, before he popped his head in.
My God.
You know, so
don't get it.
So no, not really. And it's nice for me if, you know, I can pull up somebody different. So nobody particular other than Richard III, but he's left us alone for a bit now.
Oh, that's cool. I think the weirdest experience was when I took my mum and dad to the Y Theatre in Leicester.
All right, yeah.
I knew my mum was in the car with me, and when I arrived, the medium on stage, just doing the intro for the night, it says, "You got a lady next door to you, yeah, Mum, and you got a gentleman behind you, Dad."
Wow.
And I got a message about my dog, and I knew what the message actually meant, which wasn't good news, but it's just weird, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I don't think they would have my mum would not have appreciated me doing this when she was on the earth plane, but she actually understands why I'm doing this now, you know? But
Yeah.
it's weird.
Well, you know, your loved ones are always around,
Oh,
and
that's right, yeah.
you know, sometimes when we do events, it's quite common for people that are on the events, the guests, for their loved ones to come through.
That's right.
And you think, why is that happening when we're doing a ghost hunt at a particular venue? It's that, you know, my belief is that spirit, and particularly your loved ones, know that you are going to a venue where there is somebody that can pass on a message.
That's right.
And they're going to seize that opportunity. So, like you're saying, you know, your mum and dad, they knew where you were going.
Yeah.
You think, oh, let's get on this bus.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they used to go there every week. So
Yeah.
you can go to a warehouse in Leicester every week, you see, so it's ideal for them. And oh God, the driving around Leicester town centre, city centre. Whoops.
So my mouth just dropped open because Louisa, you've met William Marshall, the greatest knight that ever lived.
Oh wow.
OMG. That's
amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Have you met Louisa? Have you met Louisa?
No, I don't think we have.
No. Oh wow. Yeah.
No, I don't think we have. I'm trying to look at a photo.
Yeah, brilliant. They're both brilliant demonologists.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And spent his whole life doing it. It's not like, you know, a piece of paper and
Yeah.
It's just fantastic.
Do you know? Here's something. There's certain people in history
Oh.
I would love to meet.
He wants to stand up against me all the time. I can imagine.
One of the people I would love to meet in history is the Jane Grey's mom, Frances Grey. I think she's an incredible character. And of course, she used to own Bow Manor Hall. And so I've been there so many times, you know, and I just want to make contact or something, or give me a word that's so relevant or pertinent.
Oh, bless you.
And I've had other people who've been there, don't even know who this woman is, and they've had the odd word come to you. You go, bugger.
Not fair. Oh, wow. But you've got a right connection with Lady Jane Grey and all that, haven't you? Yeah, I know, exactly. Well, we won't go into that one.
But one day.
We need to sort it out, because I've actually been there, and I didn't know it's a glorified posh brothel. Yes. I didn't realise castles were like that, to be fair. But yeah, the images I was getting through in my head when I was picking up on stuff, it's like, where the hell have I got that from? It's a castle, for God's sake. But yeah.
We'll find her. We'll find her.
Yeah, we'll have to get onto that mission at some stage. So we've got to end it soon. About 8 minutes. Okay then, Michele, funniest moment.
Funniest moment, whatever ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Oh, blimey. Ask Gill first, and I'll have to think of something.
No.
I've lost that much. No, I'll tell you what it was. Derby Museum, right?
Yeah, I've been there, yeah.
Yeah, the toilet upstairs.
Yeah.
I got locked in it. Guests downstairs. And I had to get on the walkie-talkie. And as it was, one of our team leaders was there, Michele Rain. Michele, whispering on a walkie-talkie.
Oh, God, yeah, so everyone's going to hear it, yeah.
I'm locked in the toilet. Yeah. So that was. So she told everyone, then came and rescued me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you would. You have to, don't you? It lightens up the mood and the atmosphere, doesn't it? I love that. I worry. When someone farts and folks scream sulphur and demons.
Not good that when I told that one.
Oh, bless you. So, Gillian, yours.
Funniest moment. It was funny and scary at the same time. I think. Sometimes when people often ask, and I'm sure you get asked this question, as a ghost hunter, do you ever get scared? And I would say the chances are not, but that doesn't mean to say you don't get caught out. And so on this particular occasion, there's two actually. So on this particular occasion, I was at Donington Heath. Oh, yeah, and frogs. Yeah, yeah. I've got this fear of snakes and frogs, and quite often, especially more on the walks because it's outside. You can be walking down, and all of a sudden I'm screaming like a banshee, and all the guests are then looking really concerned, and Mitch is going, "No, it's just a frog."
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. There is a couple, but funny. Yeah, tried funny as well. No, I've lost it now. The frogs has put me off. No, yeah, it's come back. No, it's come back. I've lost it.
Oh, way. Oh,
she's gone.
She's gone. She's liked it. I bet her battery's gone or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
well, it's time to go now anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, it's time to go. But so for anybody who's interested in going on Europe, yeah, actually, Helen, it is all your fault. She's legged it. Oh, actually, she's going to squeeze back. Here we go. Hello?
Yeah, I lost it then.
Here you go. Glenn says the frogs ran her off.
Yeah, no, I'm back. Don't worry.
So we're just sort of getting to sort of say, where do people find you? How do they find you? Any events you want to mention coming up?
Right, how do you find us? Well, hauntedheritage.co.uk. Let's try again then, shall we? Hauntedheritage.co.uk. Got the website. You'll find on Facebook as well. We operate across the East Midlands. Quite a few events are sold out coming up, but I would highly recommend.
Haunted Heritage, one word, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
There's 3 big venues we've got coming up. Sorry, it would be, trying to think in numerical order now. Belgrave Hall in Leicester, wicked venue. Pierpont Hall in Nottingham.
Awesome venue, great.
And Woollerton Hall.
In Nottingham.
Within a week, there's 3 nice.
They're all super venues. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bit freaked out by Woollerton Hall. I picked up on something which I'm not particularly impressed about, and I guess it is right because it did happen, and I don't really want to. Yeah. It's kind of freaked me out to this day, really.
I can remember you being really affected by that.
Yeah, that is pretty gross because I know Woollerton Hall. I used to live near it. I used to walk near it. Yeah, in the cellar, Helen. It was horrible. I don't like what happened. Right off the kitchen. That was, oh God, I can see it now. Yeah. But yeah, but I want to thank everyone for watching anyway. Louisa,
thank you.
Great chat.
Thank you all very much.
Louisa would like to join you at an event in the future. And Jeanette, interesting chat. Eileen, thank you very much. Thanks everyone who's watched anyway, and thanks everyone for your support. Hope you have a happy new year. And thank you everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Thank you.